Hello everyone, it's Matt the Optimist. Welcome back to my channel. And I'm sorry that I haven't made videos in a while. I've been busy watching other YouTube videos, watching some playing video games, and I had an emotional meltdown 2 days ago. You probably saw that on you saw a post meltdown video on my Instagram account. So yeah, I would like to apologize for that. Um, I made this video, my video review for Bumblebee a week ago, and I should have did more videos, but I'm not always gonna make videos all the time. So I'm gonna make a video about why I'm not a fan of people representing me in video games, TV, media, movies, comic books, in some areas. Um, it's because I don't want to be pandered to. I don't want to be virtue signaled. I don't want them to use my disability as a way to push an agenda, rather than instead of, but they don't. So they push that rather than making a good story. So I'm gonna show you this. I have a video to show you guys. I have to show you something. I gotta get something. Be right back. Power Rangers 2017. They mentioned that there was going to be an autistic character in it. I didn't know how bad that was because I was preached to. They virtue signaled. They were calling for representation. Don't do that. You can do that by showing and not by not breaking the show and not tell shtick. You gotta show and not tell. You didn't do that. 1 second. Sorry about that. And I am not some tool to be preached to. Okay? I don't want anyone to represent me unless they want to use it to fit the plot, not to do it to virtue signal and say, hey, we have an autistic kid or an autistic character in the movie or in the game. Progressivism! Yeah, that's pretty stupid. A couple of weeks ago, when I saw this when I was looking up autistic characters or characters who happen to have autism, I can't tell the difference between autistic character or character who happens to have autism or who happens to be autistic. I can't tell the difference anymore. And I found a Power Ranger a video of. I found a video. I didn't watch it yet. It was mentioned LGBT autism, representing LGBT community autism. They shouldn't have to represent anybody. Not like this. And I have a video right here to explain why I don't support representation in this way. It's gonna use the noises. This is from Young Repa59. He's part of the Fandom Menace. He's a libertarian. Ignore that. And I will do my commentary a little bit here. So
I've done these longer videos on these topics, but I wanted to have some individual videos really diving into some of these concepts. Now, this video, I want to talk about this idea of representation, right? Because this sort of crosses into some of the things that I speak about in my daily activism. I'm being dead serious right now, and this is one of the topics that really get me going. Now, when I bring up, like, say, race changes in comics or tokenized characters that only exist to be a minority, there are some people who will say, or in turn say, things like representation matters. Of course, they always signal to the kid.
Yeah, representation doesn't always matter for me because they really don't care about representation unless it fits their narrative. That's what social justice warriors do, and they just want to represent everyone when not everyone wants to be represented. They just want to be entertained. They don't want to be preached to with identity politics, social justice politics. You name it.
Now, though not exclusively, this tends to be in reference to race, right? So when the race
or gender or disability or sexuality
change exists, you call it out, you get those things said to you like, what's wrong with you? How could you possibly be mad that some little boy or girl can feel like they can now matter? You know, they feel like they are represented. I have a fucking problem with that. This idea is a very
By the way, that beep kind of messed me up a little bit because I have sensory issues, sensitive hearing. That beep kind of startled me a little bit. Yeah, I know you didn't see the startling, but you know, it happens.
Responsible and toxic thing to instill in someone that's young. And if you adopt this idea as an adult, well, something is legitimately wrong with you. Now let's start here. First and foremost, your own self-esteem should not be reliant upon anybody else, especially fictional characters or people in movies and television. You should not need validation from these other people. I call this toxic because these people are not going to always be around. Sometimes you are going to be isolated and have to create your own way. You got to be comfortable with yourself and inside your own skin, because sometimes you may actually be the first of your kind going into that avenue that you wish to go into. And you can't be looking to some savior in the flesh.
Yeah, I'm not looking for anybody to represent me, because not everyone's gonna have every minority in their movies. They've been doing that with Star Wars. They've been doing that with Star Trek Discovery. They've been doing that with Ghostbusters. They've been race swapping and gender swapping every character in the name of representation. We call that forced representation and forced diversity. We already had diversity in the X-Men and which with all different kinds of backgrounds. And you know what? And they race swapped the West family. They race swapped James Olsen, and they want to make a black Batman, which there already is one, Batwing, and they just want to, and they race swap every character. They want to race swap Ariel. They race swapped Mary Jane. They race swapped Harry Osborn in Spider-Man: Homecoming in the name of diversity. They only want to exclude white people, straight white males, to replace minorities, LGBT folk, autistic folk, disabled folk, women and not men. More of this and less of this. That's what they think is diversity. It's bullshit.
Because once that is stripped away from you, it's terrible for your mental health, because you have now become dependent. But it ain't just with mere validation seeking that's the problem. I get it. I'm not stupid.
One second. I have an itchy ear. Sorry for the grossness.
When you see others a part of something in life that you sort of favor, it's a really good feeling because you can relate to it, right? And my band is a huge example of this, as we were able to successfully break through the metalcore and the hardcore scene in being like openly libertarian and anti-statism. Because we did it, we've had other people tell us that we've influenced them to give it a shot in their art because they've now seen that it can be done. But the problem with this representation matters thing is that they have now limited the ability to relate to someone to, let's say, something like race. That is, if
it's like you expect people to relate to characters because they have a disability. I can relate to Sean Murphy because he has some sensory issues and he has meltdowns like I do. I relate to his characteristics surrounding his disability, but I would never relate to him because he is autistic. I just relate to his characteristics. I can relate to Temple Grandin because she has traits that I can relate with, like sensory overload and anxiety. I don't relate to Temple Grandin because she's autistic, and I don't relate to other characters because they're white or men. I seriously, I don't like seeing myself on screen. I don't
see someone that has black skin or brown skin, then I can't relate to it and I can't enjoy it. Or I would think something is wrong with myself, and that is for losers. But when talking about these kids, man, I don't think you representation matters type understand that you actually like reinforce racism. That is a learned trait. Have you seen young kids at the playground, bro? They will play with any and everybody. It isn't until they are older and they get these sort of rotten damn school systems, and you as a parent started overemphasizing race and racism until they started really getting that idea that they absolutely have to gravitate towards people that are the same damn color as them. And I'm not saying that kids should be raised to be colorblind or ignore the concept of race. I'm saying when it comes to like human interaction, it is absolutely irresponsible to reinforce this idea that their livelihood, their friendships, and their relationships must prioritize race. Now, getting back to the point of these characters.
And don't prioritize disability either when it comes to movies and comics books, okay?
Right? When I was really young, my favorite comic book character was the Flash. Why? Because he was fast, and so was I. I used to kick these little kids' asses at field day, and you know that I was a track and field athlete through high school and then a Division I collegiate sprinter. The characters who his superpower, right, is to run fast appealed to me, and that's how I related. Now, when I got older, Batman was a character that I could really appreciate. He grew up without a father, and he was really into technology.
Yeah, I can relate to Batman. I can relate to Batman too, because my mom raised me when I was young, and I grew up without a father before my mom married my stepdad after when I was in 4th grade. So I can relate to Batman for that. I can also relate to the Flash because I can relate. He and I can relate without having any fathers either. Well, I have a stepdad, so.
Well, I can relate to both of those things. Then there's black and white characters that I don't really share much of a backstory with, but I can find entertainment in it because they're just, cool all around characters with nice storytelling. And when I see, like, let's say like the Justice League, for example, with Batman, Superman, Flash, and Wonder Woman, I wasn't losing my damn mind because none of them were black. The fact that you think that I need to see black folks to be accepted or to accept myself,
That goes the same thing for those with autism. I don't need to see myself because there's an autistic character in there. I don't want to see myself on screen. I already said that out minutes ago, so.
To feel validated or even enjoy this, that's absolutely, disgusting, and it's insulting. I get it. I get the.
Yeah, it's insulting too, because if you want to advocate for representation for those who are autistic, and you say that they want to see themselves on screen, then that's a problem. I don't want to relate to characters for those who are disabled. Even if I was in a freaking wheelchair, even if I was crippled, I don't want to see myself. I wouldn't see myself on screen anyway. I don't have to relate to another crippled character because they're crippled. I could relate to them because of their characteristics, their personality, and their storytelling and shit. So.
The idea of influence and like positive role models, I'm not denouncing that idea at all. What I'm denouncing is this nonsensical idea that in this day and age that has to be limited to something like skin color or race, especially when you're talking about youngsters. This is why these youngsters, man, they seek this sort of validation in the first damn place. It's because y'all fools narrow unique individuals and their relationships with others to something as minuscule as their skin tone. Again, that's a learned trait. So as I see it, the representation matters is nothing but a gimmick.
There are other ways to feel validated. You don't need to see yourself on screen from the media to be validated. That's what he's trying to say. You don't have to feel valid. You don't have to see yourself on screen from a character that's of the same color as you to feel validated. He's explaining it a lot better than I am. I'm not very good at articulating. So.
Put forward by egotistical maniacs who want to get away with lazy writing or want to virtue signal to the oblivion by artificially giving them the power to validate others' existence. Nonetheless, it is backed by this idea of sort of ridding people of their agency and individuality by limiting people to their race, gender, sexuality, and so forth. It makes me sick.
Yeah, it kind of makes me sick too. And this Instagrammer right here nails it. 1 second. You gotta. I screenshotted this from my Insta story when I added in right-wing trainees posted into my Insta story. Then I screenshot it, and this Instagrammer was right on point. I hear some noises. And he says, or she says, depending if he's trans woman or trans man, I don't care. It says, stop begging for the media and TV shows to represent certain types of characters. Everyone needs to understand that entertainment, media, art, and animation, or any other creative content does not exist to make you feel validated. That's true. The creators of a show not putting black, gay, trans, or asexual characters, or disabled characters, or characters with autism in what they are not creating is not discriminatory, and I agree with you, and here's the reason for that. I'm sick and tired of seeing people begging and whining for their identity to be represented in TV shows. Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. I'm sick and tired of those with autism doing the exact same thing. It's kind of stupid. The most ridiculous thing I hear is the claim, but it's important for children to see themselves being represented so that they know they're okay the way they are. No, straight up no. I agree with this guy on this one. Validation about our identity comes from within ourselves and the people we are around, not the TV shows we watch. For children, validation and knowledge about being who they are should come from the parents. That I agree with. It is the parents' responsibility to teach their child to be a respectful and decent person, the way they are suited to accept both themselves and other people. Obviously, that's true. And if you are an adult, loving and appreciating yourself is your own responsibility. As an adult, you should be able to work on your own confidence instead of relying on other people and media like TV shows, games, movies, and comics to do it for you. Stop begging everyone and everything for validation. Stop changing and modernizing already existing characters for the sake of being inclusive, and stop criticizing people because they didn't put a strong or gay female or gay character in a show. Grow a spine. Yes, exactly. Media representation of minorities is not important. I agree with you. I have autism, and I agree with this Instagrammer 100%. No creator should ever have to force themselves to put minority characters into their creation if that is not what they envision. If it's not part of the story, you can't add them in. All this diversity and woke representation bullshit is alienating a lot of fans. And I made this post weeks ago, and I said, right-wing training knows how to tell like it is, and this individual is a transgender right-winger, and this individual has common sense, and that's something you leftist SJW celebrities will never have if you continue down this regressive path. Fuck representation. We don't need it. It shows that all you care about is virtue signaling and showing everyone that you only care about forcing diversity and forcing inclusion in our entertainment products when it's not needed. This proves that you are out of touch with reality, and the majority of us with common sense and with a brain are sick and tired of it. I said this in a previous post, and I'll say it again. Hollywood is creatively and morally bankrupt, and they are out of ideas and have no respect for the source material. Even young Ripper 59 knows that. Sorry, I have pragmatic speech issues. They don't really care about diversity. They only care about pushing their social justice narrative into the products we love by pandering to minorities, by race swapping, gender swapping, and sexuality swapping already existing characters under the guise of diversity and inclusion. And it's really annoying. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people within the fandom menace will agree with that. Every time we, the fans, criticize a woke movie, a woke comic book, or a woke TV show, or a woke video game, even when we criticize woke characters, we're labeled as racist, sexist, homophobic, ableist, you name it. As a result, they alienate the entire fan base. Without the backlash of The Last Jedi, the fandom menace would never even existed. Even I was welcomed into the fandom menace, and I am eternally grateful. I was welcomed by a YouTuber named Kiri Howard, who is a trans woman, who's part of the fandom menace as well. Just give us good characters with good stories, and we'll enjoy it more. Don't give us your social justice crap, agenda crap into our favorite franchises. You're alienating the fans because of it, and it's the reason why the fandom menace was created, because of SJW leftist lunatics like you, who would prefer social justice political messaging into our favorite entertainment products than writing and telling a good story and writing good characters. And they expect black people to play black characters. They expect white characters to play white characters. They expect disabled people to play disabled characters. They expect crippled people to play crippled people. They expect deaf people to play deaf characters. I'm sick and tired of it. Anyone can play any character they want, as long as it fits within the story. And SJWs on the left, the regressive left, refuse to see that. And we all get labeled as toxic fans because of it. And I'm sick and tired of it. And Instagram and this YouTube video that I showed you was the example of what I was trying to say. I don't need autistic characters to feel validated. I want to make autistic characters that are part of the plot, and if they're part of the story. I don't want them to be made to fit a social justice agenda. Sorry about that. I don't want those to play with. And anyone can play someone with autism, even if it's a positive stereotype or a negative stereotype or a medical one or a social one. I don't care. If it's a good story, I can relate to any character, whether the character is autistic or not. Just saying. That's why I don't believe in the term representation matters. Why do I think representation matters is bullshit? And that's it for this video. If you like it, press the thumbs up button. If you don't, press the thumbs down. I'm not going to please everybody. And if you have an opinion about something, put your comments in the comment section down below. And try not to be mean, please. I'll just ignore it to the best of my ability. Share your opinions and thoughts about this in the comment section down below as well. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content, and don't forget to press the notification bell for future content in the future. So that's it. Peace the frell out, guys. I haven't done that thing in a while, so.